Chris, guitar teacher from the north of England. We're going to write some music today. We're going to learn some chord shapes. Let's get into it. So this can be used for shoegaze. You can use it for alt rock, anything you like. I think a really easy way to write, say I was using something like a simple cowboy chord, open E here. Now don't worry, that's not the lesson, right? We can simply move the shape up and down while keeping other strings open. And it gets much more airy vibe to it. Now I use this in a lot of my other videos, of which I'll link down below. But what also adds to the concept is that the high note, chords are basically a low note, the middle, and the high note. The high note's going to sound like the melody unless something else like a singer is singing over it. Do not worry about what these chords that you're creating are called. We can add a little melody note there. Don't worry about what it's called. If you've watched my other videos, you'll be sick of me saying that, but it bears repeating. Now with these cowboy chords, and I'm going to show you a hack in a second that makes them even more glorious. The ones that I've found work the best are E and E minor. Just moving these around. Look how easy that is. I'm making this up. The A shape. Just adding the melody note there. The C add 9 shape takes us back to the 90s straight away, showing my age. Might not be how every band in the genre writes, but it's how you can quickly write without thinking too much about the functional harmony aspect of it. I love functional harmony, but it's a good way of writing sometimes. We've just written a load of new chord progressions there without thinking too much about what the 1 and the 5 are. Music is a beautiful mathematics, but mathematics is good for analysing stuff, not necessarily the best for the creative process. It can become overwhelming, and I don't want to do that to you. Now, the little trick that I was talking about, and by the way, throughout this video we're going to throw in some power chords. This shape, which can be used there as well. The inverted power chord. I like to call it the smoke on the water power chord. Now this, by the way, this sort of thing, My Bloody Valentine, Kevin Shields do a lot of it. And we're also going to use the octave shape. In that case I'm using a D and a D. And we're using the open strings. We're keeping the open strings in here. Okay? Beautiful. What we can add to that, right? I'm going to use a little tuner here. Do you know why I have a tuner on the microphone stand? If you want to sing in drop D, it makes it much easier. Sorry. Ridiculous. Now you can ballpark this. We've got an A here. I'm going to tune my B string down to an A. We can do it by ear. Takes me back to my folk days. I used to sing, I was obsessed with Nick Drake and Bert Jansch when I was in university. If you want to learn some music in odd tunings, learn some Nick Drake. Also very good for learning fingerstyle. By the way, all the gear that I'm using in this video is linked down below in the description. Give it a little like and subscribe while you're down there, alright? We've just tuned this down to an A. Listen to the difference it makes. Ooh. Whenever you're in an open tuning, I'm going to do a video on alternative tunings. This isn't really an open tuning, it's an alternative tuning. A hack here is look for the octave. So Both these strings are A. We're playing the same note now. We're playing a D on both strings. Look for the octaves. Look for the fifths, i.e. power chords. These cowboy chords are suddenly creating a sad, sad song. Just making it up. It's so easy. Does this C9 still works? Strumming in here. Now, just a little touch on glide strumming, kind of pioneered by Kevin Shields. This sort of thing. Now, I could do a video on it at some point. If you want me to, I will. Just ask in the comments. I need one comment, then I'll be like, say no more, I'll do it. I'm just using the natural movement of my hand. A natural sort of bounce there. I'm not thinking about it too much. Now let's try this. Just cowboy chord shapes still, keeping the strings open. Lovely. It's going to take me a while to tab this out later, isn't it? A few more chord shapes for you. Now, I'm going to keep this in this tuning, but know that it does work in standard tuning, okay? This would normally be called something like a Lifeson chord because Alex Lifeson from Rush kind of pioneered them. This version of them with the B down tune to an A, it's actually used by Radiohead, I think, in Nice Dream. Really lovely sequence. This does work in standard tuning though. So if we play what looks like a bar chord, but we're playing it in an easier way, we're just keeping those last highest strings open. This can come up with some very, very lovely, almost quartal, very ambiguous sounding chords. I use these quite a lot. If you watch a lot of my other videos, I use them all the time. Now, don't worry about what these chords are called. I'll list it, but why is it important? We're writing. Creating. We're not thinking about the mathematics behind it. So rich. Just adding that melody note in there. Add some air, add some space. Sounds nice, but you can take a finger off and move it over here. A little sour note there, but it doesn't matter. What about if we do something like this? Woo. Try to make it sound horrible, okay? Sound horrible, as I've said before, you'll make it sound like Sonic Youth and you'll be doing well. You're making a lot of money now. Let's put it up back into standard tuning now. Beautiful. Put this here in case I want to sing in Dadgad later. Some other shapes that we use a lot, this major 7 shape. It doesn't have the 5th in it, it's just a shell voicing. We've got a whole video about these, how to make this very complex and add to it. I'll link it in the description. Just know that you can use this trick. often add the ninth to this to make a C major 9. Always know that the ninth is 2 frets above the root. We can't play it on the same string as the root, so play the octave there. If you start fingerpicking this, you're in Midwest emo territory. You really are. I don't really do that very often. This power chord with an added major 7th note. Lovely. Now that someone put in the comments that that was their favorite chord shape, and I can see why. It doesn't have a major or a minor. It's very ambiguous. Just keep those open strings in. Now on the highest strings, the highest set of strings, I just give it a bit of this, just a single finger on the B string moving around. Chord D will also work. This little shape here as well, I use all the time. It's a little fragment. It's almost, it's like we're just using a little fragment of this A shape, kind of B flat bar chord. Just using the little end of it, making it very easy on ourselves, because this is all very easy. Never worry about what the chords are called. Never worry about, when we're writing like this, whether we're going from the 5th chord resolving to the 1, or whether we're adding secondary dominants. I love functional harmony. I love music theory. But sometimes people use it very heavy-handedly. And to some people, you know, not everyone wants to learn that way. Not everyone wants to write that way, and that's fine. If you've got, the most important thing is that, you know, you develop your taste. You listen to a lot of this music. You listen to a lot of different styles of music, you know. I listen pretty obviously to a lot of jazz, a lot of metal. Develop your tastes. This is the most important thing. My friends, thank you so much. Thanks to all the Patreons. You keep this channel going. You really do. If you want to join the Patreon, that's fantastic. Just to support the arts a little bit, you know. It used to be reserved for the rich. Now you can do it. But your likes and subscribes, comments, the community are all very much... I'm grateful for all of that. I really am. Guys, if you want to check out more of this series, there's a few videos here. Looking how to use power chords to write riffs, looking how to make complex chords rather easily, because that can be a mystical thing. Take it easy.